Kia ora, and welcome to Friday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect New Zealand. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz, and today we lead with news there are more tariff deals being done, of the free trade type, but just not with the US and their mutually punitive style. In the US, jobless claims dipped last week, mainly on seasonal factors. But there are now 2.016 million people on these benefits, 5.3% more than the 1.9 million on them this time last year. Sales of new single-family homes in the US rose marginally in June from May's 7-month low, but are still well below what the markets expected. The number of unsold homes on the market rose to 511,000, the highest since October 2007, and now almost 10 months of supply at the current sales pace. And the July US S&P market factory PMI fell back into contraction, which was very unexpected because a rise in the expansion was expected. However, this was masked by a strong rise in their service economy in July. And the Kansas City Fed factory surveys also slipped back into contraction in July after a rare expansion in June. They reported increased factory activity, but new order growth was weak and order backlogs fell sharply. In Canada, their advance estimate of retail sales suggests that sales increased 1.6% in June. That more than makes up for the 1.1% fall in May and is much better than the 0.3% fall expected. Meanwhile, in Japan, the same S&P market factory PMI unexpectedly contracted in July from June's 13-month high, but with a minimal expansion. A small rise was expected. In India, they're starting to see rising international demand in their factory sector, and this pushed their July factory PMI to a strong expansion. And India has signed a free trade deal with the UK, one touted to bring $10 billion in mutual benefits. Also expected soon is a China-EU trade deal. In Europe, the Eurozone PMI for July reported a further increase in business activity during the month, with the pace of expansion quickening to its fastest in almost a year amid a stabilisation of new orders. Output growth was at an 11-month high for them. Cost inflation is easing there. Meanwhile, as expected, the ECB rate review decision delivered no change. This effectively marks the end of its easing cycle after 8 cuts over the past year that brought borrowing costs to their lowest level since November 2022. And don't forget, they remain in a tightening phase because they no longer reinvest maturing bonds issued during the pandemic emergency. In Australia, the S&P market factory PMI expanded slightly faster in July on the back of the sharpest overall rise in new business in over 3 years. This was despite export orders still contracting. The same report shows price pressures intensified, hinting at higher inflation in Australia in the coming months. And container freight rates dropped another 3% last week to be 57% lower than year-ago levels, although, to be fair, those year-ago levels were unusually high. Outbound rates from China to the US are the weakest routes at present. But bulk cargo rates rose another 11% over the past week to be 13% higher than year-ago levels. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.41% and up 2 basis points from yesterday at this time. And the price of gold will start today at $3,369 an ounce, down $18 from yesterday. And American oil prices are marginally firmer at just under $65.50 a barrel, but the international Brent price is still just on $68.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is now at 60.4 US cents and unchanged from yesterday. Against the Aussie, we've dipped 10 basis points to 91.6 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're holding at 51.3 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just on 67.8 and up 10 basis points from yesterday. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $119,232 and up 1.2% from yesterday at this time. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been low, though, at just under plus or minus 0.9%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again on Monday.